You know, when you reach my age, you don't expect to discover new things about your physical features.
Uh-oh.
Like, I just realized, like, my nose is so big it casts a shadow on my face.
That's why you got to light from both sides equally.
Yeah. I mean, that's what I do, right? Like, it's like, but then I was playing around with the lighting, and like trying to like do that like cool thing that people do, like where they have like, part of their face is like shaded and part of it's like, I can't pull it off because I'm like a sundial. I'm a human sundial.
It's 3:00.
Do you know where your Jason is?
Right in front of my face, telling me the time with his nose.
Hey, could you? I forgot my watch. Could you just like turn to the left a little bit?
Can you face north?
How you doing, buddy?
Doing well. How are you?
I'm good. I got this chair, several months ago.
Yeah.
It's like I'm embarrassed to say where So I don't even remember what it's called. All I know is I saw an ad for it on Facebook. So it's that chair
There
that
you
like
go.
you see celebrities like they must get free chairs or something, and then they do a little commercial for it. But it actually is a great chair. It's comfortable, like but it's like starting to make creaking sounds.
Mm-hmm.
More and more. Oh, see, like more and more, and I think, and I'm not getting heavier. I promise, I'm not getting heavier. But I'm just thinking, like maybe I'm wearing it out.
Yeah, mine makes an unsatisfactory noise too.
Like, it's kind of I mean, like pop. It's like the Rice Krispie treat of chairs. It's like her Rice Krispie cereal. It's like the snap crackle pop.
Well,
thing.
that's it's kind of like you said, the features that you find out about yourself as you age. Whenever I get out of like bed in the morning, I sound like a friggin' bowl of Rice Krispies just walking around, like my feet and knees.
Oh, your knee, yeah.
Oh man, it's just like I mean, if I recorded it and I could put like some saxophone behind it, it would be pretty groovy.
My knee pops, but it's not an age thing. It's always popped. Like not always, but like for a good 20 years. I mean, so a long time.
Yeah.
And so, it's embarrassing. Like when I'm walking with new people, and it's relatively quiet. It's embarrassing.
Yeah. I know what you mean.
It wasn't when I was in my 20s. Because when you're in your 20s and your knee pops, you're like, oh, dude, your knee's popping. Like, yeah, I know.
Sports injury.
When you're in your 40s and your knees pop, people are like, damn, you're old.
Yeah, I know.
Especially if the person you're with is like 20-something.
And then if you try to go like, no, it's always popped. Just like, okay. Yeah, whatever, dude.
It's been popping since you were like not even born.
You made it pop.
That's right.
Didn't pop until you were born, buddy.
That's right. I sensed a disturbance in my knee.
What did you do to me?
Oh, yeah. So, but yeah, so it's all fine. So here I am with my standard lighting.
Cool.
Yeah. I see you have your standard Iraqi war background.
Yes.
Going.
Yeah.
Desert Storm.
I like to get that kind of reporter in the field kind of feel over here.
It's just...
I'm reporting here from Baghdad.
That's right.
Everything's bad. Sucks here.
I don't know. I'm in this canvas tent.
I'm eating food out of a can. Like there's no good Pokemon around here for Pokemon Go. So.
I was reading a New York Times article today about Afghanistan and the sort of quandary that America faces right now with its situation there. And I was reading it, and I got to the part where I had to turn to an intersection to read the rest. And I got to like 2 paragraphs into that page,
Mm-hmm.
And I found myself moving on to another article.
You just kind of lost interest in the situation in Afghanistan.
Well, see, here's the thing. Like, then I caught myself like, wait, why did I just stop reading that article?
Mm-hmm.
Like, clearly, I mean, I didn't like run out of things to learn about the situation.
Right,
Somehow, part of my brain decided, you know what, that's enough. You got enough.
You're sort of managing your, I don't know, your stress, your worry about things.
No, I think it's more the subconscious allocation of attention to things that are going to come up today.
Mm-hmm.
And so there's this part of my brain that finally reached the point where it said, you don't really need to know anymore. Because like you're not going to remember this part anyway. And there's no one in your day you're going to talk to who's going to have any level of demand that's going to require you to know that stuff.
Right.
Like can you hear the dog barking?
I can hear the guy with the broken car revving his engine up over here.
This is the sound effects episode.
Yeah, this is the Foley up.
So that happened, and then I went back. I was like, no. I'm going to read the rest of this article. By golly, so I made my way into it.
And with an Ahab-like determination,
I got like three more paragraphs, and I was like, I don't. But here's the thing: I realized that it's in those next 2 or 3 paragraphs that you get the Jeopardy answers.
That's true. That's true. If you're going to be good at Jeopardy, this is the kind of thing you need to.
Because even just reading, like, if you ever listened, which I haven't listened in a long time, but if you listen to Wait, Wait, Don't Tell Me on NPR, I don't even know if it's still on. I assume it still is on Sundays. I used to love that show. I used to listen to it religiously. I used to listen to that, and then of course, Prairie Home Companion, Garrison Keillor.
Of course, yeah.
Is he still alive?
I think he's alive, but I don't think he does.
Doesn't no.
PHC as the cool kids say.
He was kind of Me Too'd, wasn't he?
Anymore.
I think maybe.
He was what?
Wasn't he one of the Me Too people that like?
Oh, was he?
Fell out of favor. Yeah, he was.
Oh man, that's disappointing.
I know. I think maybe he took that Prairie Home Companion thing a little too literally. And so anyway, I've been waiting. That
kind of companion.
So I was so I would listen to this show and I would get the answers because it's the news. They would do this news quiz. They would do this news quiz. I'm just assuming you're familiar, which you're not. So I'm doing this news quiz and it's like the weekly news quiz, and then they ask the question. They have this little game thing, and then I'm like rattling them off, right? And I would say it loudly enough so that Michelle could hear that I'm getting these answers correct.
Yeah, you need validation,
right? And I would get nothing.
Nothing.
I was so frustrated.
We're not congratulated even a little on your awesome knowledge.
Right. I would yell it from the shower. I'm listening to the shower. I would yell the answers. Wait for the sound of the recognition.
She's not ringing any bells or throwing confetti or nothing.
I'd come out dripping. Did you hear me? Did you hear? I got all the answers.
I got that right.
She's like, yes, darling. Yes, that's lovely. That's probably why I stopped listening. So like 20 years later, like literally 20 years later from this day I was thinking of when I was in the shower yelling, I don't listen anymore because I don't get the positive reinforcement. But I do read the New York Times, at least the first 3 paragraphs of the articles I'm interested in.
That's good.
But I invariably find that I get to like that 3rd paragraph and I'm like, do I have it in me? Do I have it in me? And then you push because it's, I mean, I feel like they do it on purpose. Sort of like the crossword puzzle. Crossword puzzle. They have 2 crossword puzzles in the New York Times. They have the shorty version, which Michelle and I like to try to do as fast as we possibly can. I think I might have talked about that. And then there's the more complex crossword puzzle that like you get teased into thinking like, okay, here you go, pal. Here you go. Here's this little crossword puzzle for you. And then you go to the meatier one, and you're like, no, I don't mean like meteor, I mean like meteor.
Yeah, to say the meteor.
It's not in the science section, although the science time section on Tuesdays, that's worth getting the paper, the New York Times, just in and of itself. But you get to the other crossword, and you're like, what is happening? And they'll give you like a few like easy ones, but otherwise you're like I'm an idiot. I am an idiot.
Right.
I don't even deserve to get this paper delivered to my house.
It literally makes fun of you.
Yes. It mocks me. So I don't so I think that they do this. I think they give you like the first 2 paragraphs. They're kind of like here you go. If you have 7th grade reading level, you're going to be fine. And then we get to the serious, and then they go from like 7th grade to graduate school, like on a dime.
It's like, how many PhDs do you have?
At the 3rd paragraph, they start because the 3rd paragraph now, you need more information to understand the 3rd paragraph, to, like the context. You need more than what you got from the first 2 paragraphs. You need to have been reading the articles leading up to this.
Published
right?
at least 1 paper on the topic.
Well, but maybe they've had articles like, this isn't the first article they've written about Afghanistan, for example. But you
and
have
they
to
don't give you the previously on. But to get
to understand what they're talking about in the 3rd and 4th paragraphs, you kind of need to have been paying attention to the articles leading up to this for the past several months, really, right? But if you can push through to like the 6th paragraph, it's like you're granted backstage passes. Because that's where I find like you're like, okay. They start going back in time. They start like giving you, it's almost like here are the cliff notes. They give you the context. Like, why didn't you give me this up front?
Right.
Like, this would have been helpful to know when I was at the 3rd paragraph.
I had to just kind of go with things and fake it.
I'm faking it for 2 paragraphs. And I'm don't get me wrong. I can make it to the 4th paragraph. You know what I mean? But it's difficult. Anyway.
The Anatomy of New York Times article.
Yeah. So.
Interesting.
I have no idea why I brought that up.
I have no idea either. You
read
about Afghanistan. I read an article today about Afghanistan.
Background. That's what it was. It was your right.
Yeah. I read an article about there were 30 people in Afghanistan that blew up during a bomb making class today. They were members of the Taliban. Yeah.
Oh, they're members of the Taliban.
Right, and they were having a bomb-making class, apparently, and they all exploded.
Don't you feel like that's probably what you'd say if you dropped a bomb on the Taliban?
Well, I don't know. I was kind of also thinking, is that a pass? Is that like, did they pass the class, I guess? I mean,
that's terrible.
Success, right? I
was thinking more like Darwinian. Like, okay, well, clearly these guys, not who we want. I mean, they're going to blow themselves up anyway. Then they might as well, Although I don't think that's their thing. That's not really their thing.
Yeah, it's like a rehearsal.
Taliban's a little more. They're more
sophisticated.
sophisticated.
I don't know that they
actually
do the suicide bombing thing.
Not that I want. I don't.
Like this is a lighthearted episode.
Yeah, I don't actually mean to give props to the Taliban. This is great, and on the web crawlers are going to love this too. By the way, so that's great. The bots, like the bots that are like. Look for what we're talking about. We've talked about Me Too. We've talked about Garrison Keillor. We've talked about Taliban. That's fantastic.
We're only 15 minutes in.
Yeah. Good night, folks.
It's going to be one of those episodes.
Yeah, good luck with the donut art on this one, man. So
it's just going to be a pile of rubble.
So I have to. I feel like I should give you the courtesy here to talk about your
list of topics is extensive.
Yeah, I mean, because
we used to not have topics that we planned to cover when we started this show.
We did. You're right. I mean, we didn't. I mean, we had a list of like a fallback, like, hey, if we.
I haven't even looked at that list in ages.
Oh yeah, me either. We should probably do that.
Yeah.
The show could be a lot more interesting.
Dogs or whatever.
But the So we just started getting into the habit of sending each other what we call our pins, which you coined the phrase, I think. And because I would say something, you'd say, pin it. I'm going to pin it.
Yeah, let's put a pin in that, and we'll talk about it later.
Right.
Yeah. And I thought that was a bit more common phrase, but maybe I'm mistaken. I don't know.
No, it might be. Maybe it's one of those like third paragraph phrases.
It could be. You just didn't push hard enough. And...
Right. So we send each other these little pins, and Marcus has gotten to the point where he can figure out what I'm actually doing based on the pins that I'm sending and the frequency of
frustrations
the pin,
or whatever that you might be.
But you sent But you sent one. You sent one, I believe, about push notifications.
Yes, I did. And this happens a lot. And it actually happens. One of the things that sort of first turned me on to this weird phenomenon is when we started really deploying in the field the chip on your credit card, because those machines were very sort of different than before. And when you would stick it in there and you would put in your PIN or whatever you were doing, and then it would sound like an alarm. It would be like, but it was to tell you that everything went fine. And
like to pull your card out. It was like, don't forget
but
your card.
It was this horrible caustic klaxon that would be like, your transaction is complete, sir. Have a nice day. But it was this awful thing that was loud and everybody could hear it. And it sounded like there was a problem with your card. But like I get notification, like I have this thing that monitors my network at the house, and I will get a push notification like on my watch or my phone or whatever, and it'll be like, everything's fine. It's like, did you have to? I mean, why?
Wait. So is it like if this and that kind of thing, or is it built into your network?
No, it's a thing called Fing.
Thing are you?
And it's it just basically monitors the network for anything weird that connects to it, or if there's like a brand new thing that is connected to your network, it'll alert you for that. And it'll be like, hey, there's this thing on.
That's built into like the router itself, or is it some?
No, I just run it from I run it in general, and like it's on my phone and my laptop and stuff like that. So it's just kind of paying attention to whatever network those things are on.
You want to tell us what it's called?
It's called Fing, F-I-N-G. And it's pretty good.
I'm pretty sure it's Russian.
Just keeps it's not Russian, but it just keeps an eye on things. But that's the funny thing is that it'll go, everything looks good, and sends me this push notification. Oh Lord, what is that? Oh, it's fine.
Can you turn that off?
I've tried. I can't find anywhere where you can choose. Like, I want it to send me notifications when something weird happens, when connectivity goes down or there's a new thing on my network or whatever. But I don't want it to send me this. And it's like you can turn them all on, you can turn them all off, and that's your only option. So you don't get to go in like, please tell me about this, or only these certain things, or whatever. It's not in there. So
is it things or fings?
Well, both really. Fings is that I don't know what.
Not to be confused with frings.
Go turn these things off,
delicious. Frings.
Frings or Gus Frings.
Okay. Clearly, there's a story behind this because somebody. It was like, this is a feature, and I think you're missing the point, Mark. Is I think this is a feature because if it didn't do that, you would be worried that the sentry was sleeping. You see, this is the way.
It's not doing anything.
This is your way of this is its way of telling
I'm still here,
you,
but everything's fine.
Hey, I got you. Don't worry.
I think that's geared more towards, say, you. I'm perfectly content.
What are you trying to say?
Things aren't going wrong.
What are you trying to say?
If it doesn't hear me. I think it's somebody a little more in the Jason realm that might be worried that he hasn't heard from the network.
Check to see that the door's locked 3 times. Like to make, did I lock? I remember but maybe that was yesterday. Maybe that was
right.
Maybe that was. Maybe
I
just
do
imagined
that sometimes.
Maybe I know I went over and touched it, but did I actually lock it? Did I actually make sure it was locked? I'm gonna go look again.
It's like I don't know if we've talked about this, but when you see people playing Texas Hold'em, and like especially
no one does that anymore. But you remember, those TV shows with
huge explosion.
Remember the celebrities that would play Texas Hold'em? Mm-hmm. I love that show. Whatever
World
happened
Series
to that show? Why did it stop?
I know, it was fun.
Yes.
But the thing is they would sit there and they would get dealt the 2 cards, and they would look at the 2 cards, and then they would play the rest of the game, the rest of the hand, without looking at those cards.
I know.
As soon as I stop looking at the cards, I have no idea what cards those are.
Right.
And I have to look at them like 20 times.
Object permanence. It's like, I don't know.
They're not even temporary. Mine are object non-existence.
Maybe I didn't read them correctly.
So I looked at them and I was like, I know that I think they were both black. Oh, there's a queen and a 4 of... No, I don't know. Well, they both have stems. So what am I supposed to do with that?
Is that a serif font? Yeah, I don't know what to tell you. I think that, I mean, you probably aren't asking me to help you engineer your notifications. You're just complaining about. Okay, so is there anything else in your life that does that though? That gives you a proactive notification that everything's fine?
Let's see. The thing that really kind of was at the forefront was that credit card thing, and those have chilled out a bit. Now it's sort of more of a chimey sort of thing. It's not this
I always entirely it was acerbic. Like, hey, just don't forget your card. Don't forget. Your card.
I mean, I guess, and maybe enough people forgot their card that they needed to do that. But I mean, I put it in and I just kind of wait for it. And I'm staring at it the whole time, and I have to put in my PIN, and then I stare at it again, and then I mean, it's like in front of my face the whole time. You know, it's like way back in the before times when you could get full service at a gas station, and you weren't in New Jersey, and you gave them your credit card, and then they would do the shuka machine.
Oh yeah, the swipe thing.
And then
not
when
swipe,
they would
but
bring
like
it back. It would be on this kind of little tiny like clipboard sort of thing, but there was a deal that would stand your credit card up so that you didn't forget it, you know. And it's kind of like that, but it's already doing that. It's sticking out of the bottom and staring at me, and I don't know. It just doesn't seem like a situation where I could easily. Now, an ATM machine, I can see that being a situation where you could walk away without getting your card because it's got your card inside of it. I mean, you know, the ones that do that, you know, now they got the push it in.
Does anyone trust those, by the way? Like, I don't.
Man, I have always been a little nervous putting my card in there and it goes
closes, and you're like, okay, I'm dead.
I don't know if I'm ever going to see that again.
It may be gone forever, and I have no money.
And there was all those stories that if you were overdrawn, it would like shred your card or whatever, and you're like, probably not the case anywhere. But it was one of those urban legends.
It's not that sophisticated of a system.
Well, it can dispense money with, you know,
I know, but it does two things.
Securely.
Like, takes your card and reads it and then dispenses money. They're not from the same hole. They're different holes. They're different holes.
There has been, let me see, it seems like there was something that had
your card in the same hole that the money comes out of.
But the, if you go to airports, you get the little credit card sized, slip when you go in, you know, you push the button, the little thing comes out and you take it, and it's got like what time and date and everything that you went into the parking garage at the
parking
airport.
Garage. Oh, you're at the airport. I'm like, what kind of boarding pass are you getting? You're talking about like at the parking garage.
Yeah, okay. Parking garage.
Yeah, well,
and it gives you that.
Yeah.
Then when you leave, you put that thing in there, and it reads it, and it tells you, you know, how much you owe, and then you can put in your card in the exact same slot.
No, it's not though.
No,
because
it is. You can do the same slot.
No, because you get the card on the way in.
Yeah, but you have to put the card in the machine so it can read.
On the way out.
On the way out, right? And that's the only time you pay.
No, but
like
you're
Sky. Okay. I know that Sky Harbor in Phoenix does this.
But you're getting the car. Okay, when you go into the parking garage, right? Are you dipping your credit card? Or are you getting a piece of paper out?
Getting a piece of paper out, but it looks. It's a credit card size piece of paper.
I'm familiar, but you're getting a little piece of paper out. I get it. So you get the little piece of paper out, and you got to hold on to. Don't lose that stuff because you can have to pay like who knows. So then you leave. When you're leaving,
assume that you were parked there for 3 months.
When you're leaving, you're not going out through the same machine that you came in.
No.
Right. That's a dispensing machine when you come in. When you're leaving, that's an intake machine.
Right, but
it's not the same hole.
It reads your card.
Yeah. That
you
machine
put it
does.
in a slot.
Yeah.
And it reads the little slip.
Yeah.
And it keeps the slip.
Yeah.
And then you put your card in the same slot that you put that thing in, and it reads your card and charges your card.
Yeah, but all that thing does is it just reads the cards. That's all it does.
But it takes one of the cards and takes them away and does not give it back to you.
Yeah, well, right. So
that's my point. If if an ATM can do that, then, or if that thing can do that, then an ATM can take your card away.
No, because you were going to have it shredded too. See.
Well, granted, but I mean, when it takes it away, it can, instead of dropping it down into a stack.
Have you ever owned a shredder before?
Yeah.
How frequently did that jam?
Depending on how much you were putting through it.
So imagine this thing
ATMs
that's like catching credit cards to shred.
Yeah.
Plus, it's a lot of effort. It's like a lot of extra expense.
This thing is dispensing cash,
but it's a lot of extra expense to. But that's a different part of the machine.
But the thing is it's just as much a thing that shifts flat things around.
I feel like if you saw behind the scenes there, you know what we need? We need like a Mr. Rogers field trip to the ATM machine, so we can see. Because I feel like once you get behind that stuff and you see it, you're like, oh, like it's like a whole different. Like that has nothing to do with this. It's like so separate. But
I'd love to see how the designs have changed over the years too.
If only somebody had like a tabletop book. They had like the Walt Disney World. They have like the Walt Disney World map book, like where you can open up the maps from the. They need that of ATM machines.
Yes, somebody needs to get on that.
Like a Richard Scary version, though.
I need Lowly Worm being like, "This is where I shred your card." I don't know. He didn't. He's never had a voice, I don't think. But
if he did,
that's what he sounds like,
that's
though.
Not what,
I can tell you.
That's what it sounds like in your head.
Hi there. I'm Lowly Worm. I don't know. Ich bin Lowly Worm.
I don't think that was it.
That's my favorite. No, I think that's the way it should be.
I don't think that was it.
I'm driving the car.
Oh, there was that guy. There was the little dude with the mustache, like the German dude. Not the Hitler guy. No, the oh boy, and Hitler. Add Hitler to. Here you go, bots. We're also talking about Hitler. Oh man.
This is simply going to be called the problematic episode.
I can't remember the name of that dude who drove. It was like the Richard Scary evil car dude. Anyway, that would be his voice.
Nah.
Yeah.
Cool. So anyway, that was my pin.
I think that's frustrating.
Things that alert you to tell you that everything is fine. But
I don't know where I thought you were going to go with it, but it wasn't. I know I didn't expect this whole network thing. That is frustrating.
Yeah.
But you're right. I think I'd find it more reassuring. I wish my kids would do that. Like if Alex would text me, "Hey, Dad, I just want to let you know everything's great."
All's well.
Like I don't have to check in. It just says, "Hey." Can
That's
you imagine
if
I got a message, "Hey, Dad, just thinking of you. Everything's great. Hope you're doing well."
He could probably automate that.
That's the thing. Come on.
It triggers every 18 hours or so. You get this. "Hey, Dad. Just thinking about you guys."
Like string,
everything's cool.
Yeah.
It's like a Doc Brown, Rube Goldberg machine that sends you reassuring texts from time to time.
Fakes his IP address, location, and
right. Somehow he's always in his dorm.
Well, that's the thing. He is always in his dorm. He's always in his dorm. And I worry because we have like the, find a friend on the phone because that's my deal. I'm like, dude, if I'm paying for your phone, I get to know where it is. And he's like always in his dorm. So then I worry, I don't worry about is something wrong with him? What I worry is, have you eaten anything today?
Right.
That's the most frequently asked question. Have you eaten anything today? No, when I was his age, I didn't have to be reminded to eat.
Sometimes I would. Just because I don't know, got busy doing something and something fun and stupid. But
there's people up the hill making food
I haven't
for
eaten
you.
in 8 hours, and and it's like 4 a.m, and that's when you're like, Taco Bell.
Oh no! I need to know what you're going to be doing for the next 40 hours.
Nah, you gotta build up your resistance to that stuff.
No, you don't actually. You don't
Well, I mean, if you plan on utilizing it as a after hours food stuffs vendor.
They have a 24-hour a day cookie shop.
Where?
In Bellingham, Washington.
Oh, really?
Yeah. I mean, it's college town and it's Washington, so certain things are legal there.
Yeah. That's a great business model. Well done.
And they'll deliver too, I think.
Oh, perfect. Somebody is making bank.
It's like 3 a.m. You're like, you know what? Exactly. I could use it now. I could use some homemade cookies.
Peak times.
Okay, I know where I can get that. Yeah, actually, they may not even be open 24 hours. They may not even be open 24 hours. It may just be like overnight.
Yeah, if it opened at 10 p.m., perfect. It closes around 5:30 or 6.
Yeah. So there's that. Let's see. Okay.
So yeah, we got a list here.
Yeah, I mean, I feel bad. Okay. Where do I begin? I went out for a walk.
Yeah, it seems like a couple of these happened on a walk.
Was this just yesterday? I think it was just yesterday.
I don't remember when exactly it is. I got all these.
I went out for a walk, per my usual, and
you're constitutional.
I think the first thing that I noticed on my walk that I sent you a little pin about was this vehicle goes by. I want to say it was a truck, but I feel like I may just be stereotyping in my mind's eye. It doesn't have to be a truck, but in my mind right now, it was a truck.
Sort of a truckish thing.
Like a pickup truck or something. Yeah. And the passenger had their foot out the window.
1 foot or both?
This was just a 1 foot.
Just 1 foot.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I don't know what it is. I have this viscerally negative reaction to to immediately.
To that. Not that you have a problem with feet in general, but just that
no problem with feet. I
particular.
actually like feet. I'm not like that. I'm not like that. But I'm not. Anyway.
The more you defend
I realize
yourself.
I can't. No, I can't. There's no way I can continue this part of the conversation and it ends well. But there's the foot's out the window and it bothers me because not because I don't like feet, but because I just don't think it's not appropriate to be going down the road with your foot out the window.
Right.
It's like, I don't know what it's like. It's just like it's not appropriate. It's like showing your butt crack while you're wearing clothes.
Yeah.
Like, are you wearing clothes or are you not wearing clothes? Like, the whole purpose of the clothing is to cover up the butt crack, among other things.
Yeah, that's one of the things, I suppose.
This is what you're supposed to do. Okay. This is even worse than that because,
Now, I assume this foot was bare.
Of course it's bare.
Yeah, okay.
I can only
it's Florida.
think everywhere. Like, have you ever seen a foot out the window with a shoe on it?
I can't say that I have, but I...
Now, I mean, I assume that's why you find shoes on the side of the road sometimes. Like, that's another thing.
It could be, yeah.
Why is it about the shoe on the side of the road? Like, why
I know.
does that even happen? How does it happen?
Weird,
what happened?
A lot of them.
Like, what happened? Like, did you... Like,
and it's one shoe. What happened there?
I think the thing that's perplexing is I think about my life and all the various times I may have lost a shoe. And what are all the times that I would have lost a shoe, but only one shoe? And
it was near a highway.
I would think like maybe on a roller coaster if I was wearing flip-flops. Maybe at the beach if I sat too close and had my shoes sitting there and I wasn't paying attention, and the ocean took one out. Like
But on an interstate, I don't get that one. I mean, did I put one shoe on top of the car? Or did I put both shoes on top of the car and only one of them fell off?
Where like someone's like thrown from their shoe. You know, that happens, you know, sometimes. But they didn't pick the shoe up. Like they left, like they took all the rest of the carnage away, but not the shoe.
But there's this one shoe there. It's like we'll leave that as a warning to others.
Is it like some bizarre like thing that some like siblings do to each other? Like they throw their shoe out the window?
Chuck a shoe out? Yeah. Yeah. But it's weird. It's like this. It's weirdly frequent that you see this.
I don't get it. I wonder if it's happening in other countries, or is it just an American phenomenon?
That'd be a very interesting thing. Like the shoe on the side of the road, do like a whole study on that. Is it a cultural thing? Is it a regional thing? Is it a...
And what size shoe? Maybe there's a correlation between like the sizes too.
That's a good one. That'd be
interesting. And the brands.
Or they always seem to be like high tops or like hiking / work boots. I mean, like if it was like galoshes or whatever, you know, like rubber boots. I can almost see that because you see these guys with the trucks, and we're bringing it back to trucks now, that have the boots, and they will put them upside down in the crack between the bed of the truck and the cab of the truck, because you keep them upside down so that
Never seen that.
You know, oh no, you look for it now and you'll see it a lot. But they put them there because it's a decently like secure place to put them, and they stay upside down so that any moisture or accumulated rain or whatever drains out, and they stay relatively dry. And so I guess I can see that, but those aren't the kinds of shoes that you see on the side of the road. They're like I said, it always seems to be a high top or
civilian shoes, yeah,
or like a leather boot, not a cowboy boot, but like just a sort of a hikey type boot, maybe. It's weird.
Well, in any event, this person didn't have. I don't know whether the shoe was on the road or in the car,
none of that.
But this person had just a foot out the window, and here's the thing. I fear that the reason that it turns me off so much is because I've been taught to not like it. Like I've been taught.
Oh, really?
That there's are bad people.
Is this a parents thing?
That's what I'm worried about. Like I'm wondering, like if I was to, so because and you've heard me ridiculed for this. I am the person, if I have the right shoes on, like if I'm wearing flip flops or shoes that I can just like pop off easily. And I get on Soren.
Oh, yes.
I'm taking them off.
Yep.
Because Soren's lovely without shoes. And that's probably the closest I've ever come to having my foot out the window of a car. Right?
Barefoot Inappropriateness.
So there is something lovely.
Show title.
There's something lovely about the air, the wind blowing across your foot, through your toes. It's freeing. It's freeing.
Yeah.
It's like swimming naked.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, and that's all I'm going to say on that matter. I think that if I just try it.
Putting your foot out the window?
But I don't think I can, because it feels like it's like it's like walking around without a shirt on outside.
Yeah.
I can't. I mean, like, no one wants to see that anyway. But like, even when I was young, I never, unless you're at the beach, you don't have any don't do that.
I know what you mean.
You know what I mean? Like, so you don't put your foot out the window. You look like a hillbilly. I think that's it.
Right. I think I'm worried about it.
It's the story in my head that I tell about the people who have their...
communicate about you as a person.
Yes. Right. And so that's why I get so if I'm with somebody and they stick, oh my gosh, I'll lose my mind. Like, you don't put your foot out the window. What are you, a hillbilly? And then I remember one time, I think this happened to me. I think it was Michelle. Like, I think that one of the first road trips we ever went on. It's amazing that there were more than one, actually. The first road trip we went on, she may have had her feet. So she may have taken her shoes and put her feet up on the dashboard or something. Uh-huh. And I was like, oh, no, hell no. No.
That one doesn't bother me.
Really? But here's the problem. You know what
especially
happens?
on a road trip.
No, because you know what happens?
What?
You get the toe print on the window, and that's never coming off. You're never getting that off. Ever. And if you try to get it off, all you do is smear. You just smudge it more.
It
You're
becomes
like,
a very, very large
why
toe
that
print.
even? Why? The first, just word to the wise for those of you who have not encountered this. Never clean the inside of your windows in your car, your windshield. Don't do it.
Never?
Don't do it. I don't care what you think. First of all, don't touch the wind. Don't touch it.
Well, sure.
Don't touch it. Pretend it's going to zap you if you don't touch it. Don't let anybody touch it, and you don't touch it. Okay? If something falls up there, and you have to retrieve it, a piece of paper, be very careful. Don't even let your knuckle touch the window. It's going to leave a mark, and it's going to be, and then it's just a slippery slope from there. Because the minute you go to clean that, think about it. There's no reason to clean it. Maybe you have to dust it or something, but then you just dust it. Just dust it.
Mm-hmm.
The minute you go to clean it, you have just, I'm trying to come up with the right term without sounding crude. It is it is no longer pure.
Right. Yeah.
Right. And if you try to use some kind of cleaning agent on it, like Windex or vinegar, whatever you're going to use, it's just you will always have a smudge mark.
Yeah.
Some sort, or a streak or something, and you think you got it clean until the next time your car gets a little foggy and it's you have to run the defroster or something, or it's sunny and then you get the sunlight coming through and you see it and you're like, oh, it's so clean.
Sort of, yeah.
And
and I've often thought about how that is the worst and most awkward angle for a piece of glass to try to clean that upside down like that is such a pain. And I've always wanted there to be a way to sort of open the windshield out, and lay it down almost on the hood, hinged at the bottom, so you could really clean it real good and then put it back. But
they do the windshield replacing service, right?
Yeah.
So they'll come and just take the
that
entire
every time
windshield.
I clean the windows.
Can you imagine? I mean, that is something I would do. Let's be honest. If I could just if it was a rental kind of thing, it's in a subscription plan, right? I don't actually need my windshield replaced. Actually, everyone does, because it gets those little nicks and things in it, and
right.
It's driving down the highway, flecks of stuff hit it, and it does get pitted all.
Sure.
I think little micro pits. I don't know why I laughed at that. Micro pits just sounded funny. But if you can you imagine? Oh, what a great service! Okay, I don't have to clean the inside of my windshield because I'm just gonna have it replaced in a month.
Oh yeah, you get a brand new windshield.
A brand new windshield.
Month. Yeah. That'd be
brand
great.
new.
And the other ones,
you get to,
they can run it through
especially
some
if they
kind
let
of
you have the pleasure of peeling that plastic off,
oh yeah.
Oh, and you could hear the static, you feel the static from oh god, that would be the best. They should have that.
They should, yeah.
I mean, they should totally have that, because then, I would replace my windshield on a regular basis. Actually. Gotta be great. It would be great.
Subscription, the Netflix of windshields.
Someone's got to do this. Anyway. So this woman's foot was out the window. And I just had this negative reaction, and then it led me to think about why do I have this negative reaction?
Right.
Because I think it's. But at the same, and there are other things like this in life where you see somebody do something and you're just appalled. You're right. But there's nothing inherently wrong with what they're doing.
Right, yeah. Exactly.
It's just some rule of society that I happen to have, and I know other people do too, because look, most people don't go down the road with their foot out the window. It is the exception to the rule.
Yeah, true. Yeah.
Right? Just like you don't see adults with their heads out the window, typically, like a dog. You see a dog with its head out the window, you're like, oh, God, how cute that is. It's so funny. Little the tongue's like flapping in the wind, right? The ears are, right? You see a person doing that, you're like, what is that? Idiot. Unless it's a little kid, then you're like,
right,
their parents should probably tell them they're going to get a bug in their mouth.
Right.
Right.
Or their head's going to come off. Adults like to say like really horrible things to their kids that are, you know, they can tell them that's going to happen to you if you do this. When,
right.
How would that happen? I mean, are we getting
really
that close to the wires and the trees and stuff?
Aren't you more worried about your paint job at that point?
What are you talking about? You're going to knock the rearview mirror off of there.
Right. When it hits I'll pull in when you hit the rearview mirror. The thing I used to do when I was a kid, we do the hand thing. Like you you create the aileron.
I still do that.
You know? Do you?
Yeah.
I don't
if I'm in the passenger side and the window's down.
Yeah, I need to do that again. Why don't ride as a passenger?
Learn a lot about airplanes doing that.
But you could do it as a driver too, right? Like you just look like full people look at you be like, why is this grown man doing airplane with his hand out the window? That's what I'd be thinking.
Because he's a cool person that's happy and doesn't care what people think.
That's the thing. I care too much about this stuff. I don't know. It's a problem.
Yeah.
So I feel.
Sounds like you need to be sticking your feet out the window more.
I've never done it.
Well, that's my point.
Well, you bring your car over, and
I'll do it. We'll do some window footing.
And then with my luck, you'll drive like
we'll
too close to something.
Put it on the show.
It'll be like the one time that like someone else has their foot out the window, and we get so close to them, we bang feet.
You like high five feet together and whack.
What sound was that? Like my knee doesn't pop anymore, but my ankle does. You know, I don't know. It's
No, we would also be driving on the wrong side of the road if that happened.
It's like foot jousting, you know, you're like passing each other. You're like,
I kick you.
Imagine. So that happened.
Because it wasn't very long until I got the next pin.
Well, I'm trying to think. Well, the next pin was, okay. So, there was this happened. That's right. So there's this
protocol.
There's this woman
passing.
I was walking. I was not walking, but I was this woman I walked past. I'd say pretty early on in the walk, and did a little head nod thing. And I was very careful.
Sure.
It was the afternoon, I believe, so I was very careful not to say good morning, because that's typically when I walk, and because of that, every person I pass, I want to say good morning to, and I do sometimes, and then I feel like the village idiot after I've done that. But sometimes they say it back, like good morning, like oh, I'm so sorry, like I drew you into that, like now you're gonna feel bad, but it was actually my fault. I'm so sorry, you were just being polite. Anyway, so I passed this woman, little head nod, whatever, and then, or hi, yada yada. That's another interesting conversation to have. Is like, what is the appropriate thing to say, and how do you respond? But this person passes, and I get on a little further in my walk, and then I'm approaching them again. And I start to like get a little anxious about this whole situation, because it happens more regular. Like I should have this all figured out by now, but I don't. And it's because I think my anxiety is really about how they're going to react. Like if there was a standard operating procedure for like how to deal with that kind of situation, I would be fine. It would all be fine. Like, here's the question, like, having already said hello to the person and acknowledging their existence in a namaste kind of way, do you then acknowledge it again?
Yeah, this
like
also
in the office
comes
environment.
Up,
this is
exactly
right. It's like that
when you're
too.
passing each other in a hallway at the office. You're going to see the same people over and over. And the first time's kind of easy. Hey, how's it going? What's up? Or whatever. And then the next time you see him again, especially if it's fairly soon after you saw him the first time, then you just like you just kind of do that pursed lip. You know, and you kind of raise the eyebrows. What's that? You know, that kind of thing. But then if you see him again after that, now what? You know, because I don't think anybody's going to do we got to stop meeting like this, you know, because I think that's
That's when you pinch them on the butt.
That's when you have to stab the other person.
Usually.
But yeah, that's not anymore anyway. But the one that I particularly hate is if you're in a building that has a particularly long hallway on it. And there's somebody that you talk to quite a bit, all like as far away as he could possibly be, and you guys are walking toward each other, and you have this inordinate amount of time where you have this person that you're familiar with in your field of vision. But what an uncomfortably long amount of time to just be staring at somebody. Like, if you don't know them, it's a lot easier to just kind of be looking at the floor or, you know, being distracted by something else. But you know that person and they know you know, they've seen that you've seen them and you've seen that they've seen you. So it's harder to not acknowledge that the other person is somebody you know. And so you're locked into this bizarre thing where you're not sure if is it more uncomfortable to stare at him the whole time, like staring him down the entire time that we're approaching one another? Or is it more uncomfortable to feign distraction and I'm now looking at the wall or I'm looking at the floor and it's almost like I'm obviously purposefully not looking at them?
No, because you don't want to be the guy who's like weird, like you're averting your eyes from this person that you know. That's
right.
Like
right.
Weird.
But it's also almost as weird, and I guess it's that struggle as to which one is weirder in your head.
I think it gets even worse. Then you start to think, like, first of all, can he hear my knee popping? There's
right.
that.
Yeah.
And then, am I walking funny? Like, I wonder if I'm. And then as soon as you start thinking about how you're walking funny, you actually do start walking funny. Like, why am I walking funny? Why am I walking funny? I walk all the time. Why can't I walk? Oh my God.
You start overthinking walking, and it becomes this. You know, it's like when you suddenly notice that you're breathing manually. Like, if you notice you're breathing, then you start thinking about it, and you kind of feel like, now I have to consciously breathe in and out, otherwise I'm going to die. Because I can't leave it up to my brain to do it on autopilot, because now I'm aware of it. And then now that I'm aware of it, I can't be unaware of it anymore.
You got this? Okay. I'm going to go take a nap.
No, damn it. Breathe in, breathe out. Breathe in, breathe out.
I know what you mean. I see, this is where I would typically turn, if it's someone I know, then it's going to become humorous.
Right, yeah.
Because I may do like the thing where I like look at them, I look at them, and I look at them, and I keep looking at them as they go by, and I like turn around and look at them, like just to see if they turn around and look back, and then we can have a little laugh about it. Or I make some comment about like maybe their zippers down or something, or I can't believe you wore that today, or like why do you have different shoes on? Like why don't your shoes match? Yeah, something funny. If it's a guy, if it's a woman, you know, like then it's just, hey,
how you doing?
I don't know. Like it's awkward. It's an awkward moment. You're right. You know what's even more awkward though?
What's that?
Running into somebody you know in the bathroom.
Yeah. Wow. I mean, the sort of social interaction rules that apply in the bathroom.
We just experienced this.
Yeah. Yeah.
And like, I can't. I mean, I don't know. Maybe this is TMI, so apologies.
Yeah, whatever. That's what the show's about.
I am a shy urinator.
Okay.
Like, I have to do math. I have to have noise. I have to like get needs. I need like, if nothing's happening, I hate that first mover problem. Like where you're in the bathroom. And there's no audible sound. Like, nothing's happening.
Oh, my God.
There's not even music. And you're like, will somebody just start peeing, please? Please. For the love of God, or flush a toilet or something.
Or somebody do the friggin' air dryer. I love those things. They should be on all the time. If I had a restaurant or any place that had a public restroom, I would have like a DC-9 fan just going like the whole time so that you couldn't hear anything other than that the entire time you're in there.
Or the sound of music, the sound of water running. Like just pipe that
something.
stuff in.
and loud, like crank it. I mean, nobody goes in there to feel peace and serenity.
Because then I don't know why. You know what? The worst is like when you know there's like a line of people behind you waiting.
Right.
And you're like, I know that I'm trying.
They're all
to
anticipating my bladder. Yeah.
And if it's like one of those if it's like one of those like those like long urinal things, like the one that goes all the way down to the floor.
Oh, the floor?
Then it's like flashbacks of elementary school.
Yeah.
And it's terrible.
Those are ridiculous. And then oh god, they like the word. I mean, this is like so many 80s stand-up comedians have talked about this, but the friggin' trough at like sporting events do the trough. Or whatever.
I can't do it.
It's like what is this?
I can't
this
do it.
is yeah.
No, I can't.
We're all just kind of standing around and just sort of like we're standing around a campfire or something, and just well, I guess we're all peeing.
Maybe if they dim the lights, maybe.
I don't know that's the. I feel like that's going to cause more problems than
I don't think
solves.
so. Like, I just don't want to. Like, I don't know. I don't know.
I think like there have been places that I adore that will have like the stalls.
Yes.
Are full rooms.
Yeah, they go all the way down.
Where the doors shut.
God bless
and it's
America.
A door.
Those are the best.
And it's man, I will go out of my way to be there when I need to use the bathroom.
You know, it's also a nice thing, but also awkward.
What's up?
Is the washing basin, the sink in the commode area.
Oh yeah,
like
where you get the stall that has a sink in it.
Right.
Yeah.
And I had that happen today.
Those are weird.
I had that happen today at the boardwalk.
Oh, okay.
And in the bathroom there, it was probably the handicap one. I didn't do it because I'm like trying to shut out a handicapped person from being able to go to the bathroom. It was because someone else was at the urinal, and so I wasn't going to take the urinal right next to them because like COVID.
Yeah, if you have another option,
COVID,
go with the other option.
Also, and the other option was the stall right next to the same dude.
Okay.
So that's weird too, because it's like I know you're right on the other side of the wall. Right. But
and then the other thing is you're peeing in there, and he hears you peeing, and he knows that you chose that instead of the urinal next to him, and so you have this weird feeling like I don't want to like insult him.
He knows what it is, right?
It's like I wanted to pee anywhere but next to you, buddy.
I'm pretty sure you have COVID. So instead, it's like go to the other one, like to the handicap one. Anyway, so in there it's roomy, and it has its own sink, and towels and everything. Like everything's in there.
It's a little apartment.
It's like all I need is a hibachi and I'm set. So I even had like hooks to hang up my like umbrella and stuff. So
trying to set up plants and stuff. Moving in.
Can you imagine? They come to clean, they're like not like hello, and you're like, just a second.
Yeah.
Let me finish this. Oh yes.
All I need is some towels.
Could you give me an extension cord? I need the charge.
Can you bring an extension cord? Do you have the paper?
Can you give me some
paper?
ice?
I want to do the meteor.
Sorry, can you give me the ice bucket?
Crossword puzzle.
So here's the problem. So I'm washing my hands. This is great. You know, and I get the little towel action going, and it just puts out the little pieces at the time. You're like, okay, I'm gonna collect a little bit of this. And I grab one last little sheet of paper, towel, whatever thing, to get out because I can't touch anything.
Right, sure.
Right on your way out, and I realize, so as I'm coming out, like somebody had just come into the urinal area when I'm leaving, and I now realize they're going to think that I'm leaving from having like pooped or something,
right?
Without washing my hands.
Yes, because they don't know that the sink's in there.
They don't know how many people have I like thought like, oh my god, I can't believe they didn't wash their hands. when truth be told, they just had
They did. You just didn't see them do it because it's in there.
But so, like, I'm thinking, like, it actually crossed my mind to wash my hands again, just to leave the right impression on the dude at the urinal who I don't even know.
Or tell the guy peeing, hey, I did wash my hands.
No, because that's weird. Now you're talking to the person. You can't talk to you can't talk to somebody. It's awkward to talk to somebody at the urinal that you know. Like, I don't mean the urinal you know. I mean the person you know. Like, if like you and I go in, and we had this experience, not to, again, sharing too much, but like we're in there, and I think we did have a conversation.
Yeah, which I was kind of surprised about, to be honest.
That I brought that I like, I guess we're talking.
Oh, he's talking to me.
I guess we're talking. I guess we're that.
Of all the people that I know, Jason would not be the one that I would think would start a conversation while we're both at the urinal.
Yeah, but it's you. It's like
it's in a wingman situation here.
I mean, like, I wouldn't strike up a conversation with a stranger.
Well, yeah, I would think not.
But
I can't even remember what we talked about. I think I was in the middle of peeing.
But don't you feel like having there's something like alpha male about that. Like he who has the conversation in the bathroom is like the dominant
guy that
Like if we go and we're like conversing in the bathroom, pretty much we are the only one who can have a conversation. Like there's no one else can have a conversation because it's echoey and everything, right? So that doesn't work.
Yeah,
So we have established that this is our space.
Right.
We're having our conversation.
We've called dibs on conversing in here.
Right. But I do remember like having the conversation with you and then turning around and realizing there was somebody waiting behind and being a little shocked by like, I guess they just heard everything we were talking about. Because I think we were talking about that waiter with the olive situation.
Oh, that's what it was. And so that's right.
God, can you imagine if it was the waiter? If like
we turned around
and it was the guy, that would be the best.
He's back there with some olives.
Oh, so you want them dirty?
Some more olives.
So I think it's awkward. You go into the bathroom, you know somebody who's in there, but it's not like a buddy. It's like colleague. It's an awkward situation, especially where do you go? Which one do you go to? How many are there? I think one of the best things to do, and I forget where I picked this little tidbit up, is my favorite things to do is to go into the urinal. Like if you're say you have a colleague there, and you go up to the urinal, and you turn your head and you look straight at them, and you say, "What the hell are you doing here?" That's the best. You always get to laugh, especially if you use their last name, like Val. What the hell are you doing here?
Just being.
That works. It's funny.
The one thing that I think is equally awkward, but only from a spectator kind of point of view, and this would happen a lot when I was still working in the office of the company that I work for, because business happens in there, right?
Your office wasn't in a bathroom, right? That's not code.
No,
okay.
But there was a bathroom, not in my office, but in the building. And as one might expect, and so like
one of those fancy offices, fancy buildings.
There's a hole that we pee in, but and it wasn't so much people that worked there, because everybody has offices and phones, right? But whoever is there doing business with us or whatever will invariably show up in the bathroom having a cell phone conversation, full blast.
Salesman. They've got to be salesmen.
Speaking, it must be.
Yeah, it's
and
salesman.
Speaking, like projecting, like this person could like do a monologue in Madison Square Garden and be heard in the Bleeds. And so like, but you're in the bathroom and you're like, not so much like, wow, the gall of this guy to be talking loudly in the bathroom. Is loud, the louder it is in there, the better I feel about things. But I have to think that, I mean, the echo of his voice, the sound of things is very distinctive. Whoever he's talking to,
they knows. Oh yeah, they know, right?
That he is in a bathroom. And how long he stays in there informs you as to which part of the bathroom he's in, right? If he's there and then, for a few like 13, 14, 15 seconds, and then you hear some water, and then you're like, all right, it was just peeing while he was talking to me.
I don't know.
But if he's in there,
I don't know that one is better than the other. Frankly, I really don't.
I don't know that it is either, because
I don't think it is.
While one is like, I am speaking to you while like something is coming out of you. That's a very intimate kind of bizarre thing that I didn't want to share with this person that I'm talking to on the phone. But the other one is, there's this bizarre sort of, he's clearly talking to me one-handed, and things are going wrong probably on the other end, because have you ever tried to complete, no. I mean, you feel like,
no.
You favor one hand during that, ordeal. But if you try to do it with just one hand, and you're not practiced with it, as in you have two hands and you have never had a situation where you've had to use just one hand, it's very difficult to handle all of that.
I feel like have you tried this?
I have not. Well, I tried doing the thing. Well, I have had
in
things.
India, like the poopy hand is like, that's a real thing. Like, you only use
the left hand, right hand thing.
Yeah, your left hand. That's all you. That's it. Right.
Yeah. Well, the thing is that there have been a number of times, me being me, I have grievously injured my fingers enough times that there have been issues when, like, one hand is bandaged up and not in such a situation where I can go grippy with it too much. And so I need to suffice myself with a single hand.
What are you doing to yourself? You're
I need to, I guess, be sufficient. I don't know. I'm making words up. The unique word usements I structure.
Why is your hand bandaged in the first place?
Well, I have, there are a number of scars on my hands where I have cut myself doing things with tools or knives or whatever. I am a tad accident prone from time to time. I have never built anything where I did not give at least some blood to the project. But and this is a theater background, so I've built many sets that
it's like you're making an offering every time.
Every set I have made is probably technically a voodoo doll of myself.
You've left some
because
DNA
of the blood that I
saying.
have put into this thing that I have built. But yeah, so there's been plenty of times when I've had not use of one hand and trying to get through certain things, certain very tedious things that we kind of take for granted otherwise, suddenly become massive feats of manual dexterity when you suddenly have half as many hands as you're used to having. And so to see somebody go through that willingly while talking on the phone,
I think it's a machismo thing to a certain extent. It's the guy who talks on the phone on the plane, which we've talked about.
Yeah, right until, and even a little bit after they shut the door.
And I don't know whether they're doing it on purpose or they just have that much disregard. I tend to believe that they don't even think about other people. That's the thing. They don't. It's not like they have disregard for people. It's that they
right. They're not aware that they exist at all.
Yeah, they're just not even thinking about it. They don't. They're not seeing the world. I mean, like, where I am, like, totally caught up in how is this person going to respond, right? That I'm about to walk past.
How am I affecting these people's lives?
That right. That this doesn't even occur to them. So that's part of the problem here. Like that. Like if I'm walking past a salesman who's on the phone with somebody who's not trying to sell me anything, who's on the phone with somebody, like he's not even going to acknowledge my existence. And I've had that happen. We walk past the person, they're in a phone call, you can tell they're salesy or something, and they totally keep, like, they're not even acknowledging you. Mm-hmm. There's not even like the little nod, like yeah, I see you, but I'm on the phone. So this is all you're getting. Right. Yeah. I'm good with that.
Nothing
like,
at all.
You know what, dude? Like, thank you. That's all I really wanted anyway. Right. And like it's the person who, the people that bother me, like the people you pass for the first time, and they don't even try. They don't even try. They don't like.
Yeah.
They don't even, like, look. You're not even on the phone. You're not even pretending.
They're just walking
to be distracted by anything.
Purposefully shutting you out.
Like, I just want to shake them. I want to shake
them. Other people
them.
exist, damn it.
Like, why didn't you say hi? Anyway, this person I'd seen already. Okay, she see me. We acknowledged each other.
Mm-hmm.
Second time around. No, I don't know.
Second time around,
I haven't,
more or less the same as the
there
first.
There are people. There's just there's a couple of people who I pass on a regular basis, a second or even a third time. And we have a system. There's this one woman who walks. She actually acknowledges me in a more like a stronger way the second time.
Oh.
I actually get like a smile. It's almost like this like embarrassing smile. Like I'm still on the phone call that I was on the first time I walked by you. Like that kind of thing. Like it's like okay, but it's every day. This person, I hadn't this is the first time I've encountered this person ever, but now it's for the second time. So I'm still not clear on what the rules are.
Right. Okay.
Right? So now I walk past, and we did that. Like I can't even remember exactly how it went down. I should have filmed it. That would have maybe not. That would have been awkward.
That would have been weird at all.
It was like this like clumsy acknowledgement. Like, yeah, like I don't know, like. Neither one of us knew what to do. It was the weirdest. Like we're middle-aged people.
Yeah.
And we might as well be middle schoolers at a mixer. Like she wasn't even attractive. Like I was like, there's no reason.
So there wasn't even that. There wasn't even the sort of.
No, I'm sure she's thinking the same thing. Like it was like two very ordinary people walking by, looking frumpy and sweaty. And just trying to get through life in a socially not awkward way, and
utterly failing miserably.
And I don't understand why this happens. Like I don't get it. I wish that somebody would just come up with a rule. Like this is what you do. This is like teach it in elementary. Look, it's too late for me.
Right.
It's too late. But we have to start. We
must pave the way to the future.
When they first I mean, and they should have practice. Like they do practice this in elementary schools. There are many, the class walks by another class. Do they still walk in straight lines? Do they make them like walk like little military like exercises where you have to stay on the line, single file.
Oh, I don't know. Maybe.
Kind of thing. Did you have to do that?
I know that when they line up for class and stuff like that, I know that's still a thing.
Going to like the library when I was in elementary school, we had to like walk the line. There were these lines. We had to walk this line, stay in this straight line, straight line as possible.
Rikers Island over here.
You know, and I remember you would pass the other class going the other way. Like you're going upstream, they're going downstream, and they're like, oh, I don't know. And it was like there was that awkward but exciting moment. Like, what's gonna happen? Do we slap five? Do we like say, hey? We're not supposed to talk.
We do the robot?
It's, you know, like, I think maybe that's where it begins. And they should teach it then. They should teach it. Yeah. Elementary school, like, this is what you do when you walk past somebody. They teach you to shake a hand. I mean, they don't do that in school, but, like, good parents, I think, teach the kids, like, how to shake hands properly. You know, they teach you how to handle a bat when you're playing baseball. Like, don't be standing over there in the batter's box, like, swinging the bat around like crazy.
Like,
no,
that's bad.
You can hit somebody, right? They teach you all these things, like socially acceptable things. Walking past somebody should be one of those things. Like, what do you do in those scenarios? I don't know. I haven't figured it out. Nor have the other people, from what I can tell.
Yeah, clearly, because there's still a lot of awkward going on out there.
It's like people don't. Yeah, I don't. There's
nothing social interaction class.
There really is nothing better though than having a good system with like people that when you find that person, it's like a relationship. Like when you find that person on your walk who they just get you. You're like it's never awkward and it's never a chore. It never lingers, but it's like you recognize it to each other. Like, God bless them. Like, I love those people. Love them. Because it's just enough. It's like we acknowledge each other. Even when we pass each other a second or a third time, it's like it's like just a slightly dialed down version of the first one.
Right.
You know, like, hey, like, yeah, see you again. Yeah, like, we're good. That's how the world should be, Marcus.
It is how the world should be. Absolutely. And not like a guy talking on the phone in the bathroom.
I know. Like,